Hey everybody, I'm Cole. That's my name. This is my channel, and welcome back. Today we're relaunching our comic podcast. Technically, this is the fourth episode, but it'll be the new number one. It's a classic comic thing to do. I hated the title of the old series, but those episodes will stand because I think the episodes are pretty good. But I wanted to change the title, so we're gonna go with Tales from the Shelf now. I thought that was a better moniker, and essentially, for the uninformed, new people seeing this is kind of like a book club style podcast we want to do. Essentially, we're going to read a book every month, and at the end of the last episode, we'll have said what the next book will be, so you can kind of follow along with us if you want. It's going to be weird this episode because can't really do that. But so stick around to the end, and we'll tell you what we're going to do next month. But this month, we opted to do JLA, Justice League of America, The Tower of Babel by Mark Waid and Howard Porter. And yeah, I guess we'll jump right into it. You're the guest. Would you like to give your thoughts first, or you want me to lead us off?
I can give a couple thoughts.
Sure.
I really didn't like this that much.
That's funny.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think I liked it more than you did, but please.
I overall the idea is cool. I think the idea is cool. The execution is, to me, this should have been, what is this, a three?
It's four
What is
issues.
it?
I believe the main story is four issues. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of other stuff added on there.
Well, I think there's three main JLA issues, and then one of the other, or maybe two of the other issues in here that aren't actually JLA. They're
Oh, Secret Files and Lost Pages are the
yeah,
extra stuff. So yes, I guess it's. I believe
might be
Tower of
two.
Babel is three parts. The JLA issues. But we can correct that record whenever we get a chance. But it is shorter. This collected volume that we're reading out of, this hardcover version, has some additional comics, two of which I think are fairly necessary to the story for it to work correctly. But all the stuff previously to Tower of Babel as a story, I believe, is just Mark Waid's guest appearances writing this JLA run, which was Morrison's run, and he was just guessing in. But I think those issues are still nice to have in this. It's a really nice collection, and I think some of it, I mean, could pertain, or maybe you could see where the ideas were building for Tower of Babel, because clearly this was Waid writing leading up, and then they finally gave him a full story arc
Yeah.
to do. And so I don't think it's unnecessary to have these issues. I will say the one thing about there being such extra stuff in here is the art kind of shifts back and forth, and there's some art in here that I love and I think is really good, and some that I'm just not so hot on. But I'm sorry.
Like any of it, I'm gonna be honest.
No, none of it.
Not really.
I really liked the issue, the Adam Strange issue. I'm going to try and find who the writer was on that.
I mean the inker or penciler.
Yeah, penciler. I mean, it doesn't. Yes, thank you. I don't know if it says though, because the other problem I have with this is the crediting for the single issues doesn't always give you everything, because it'll tell you who the cover artists were, but it won't tell you who did the internals. But I did.
I do think my main problem comes with design wise in this. I think comes from
Army Jorgensen was the guest penciler on that Adam Strange issue that I thought was pretty good.
okay. Yeah, my problem with this is I don't like the Batman's face during any of this, and it might just be this era. I do not like how they draw his face.
Yeah, I don't.
Honestly, nobody. I don't like, of course. Fuck, dude, I'm blanking on his name.
Howard Porter.
No. Uh, the Lantern and this.
Oh,
this
Kyle
fucking
Rayner.
artist. Yeah, Kyle Rayner.
I'm not a big fan of his mask in general. I think it makes his face kind of look odd in a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
and I think his suit looks dumb as well.
I don't actually mind his suit, but
I don't really. I don't know.
I will say
like
there's
the
a
black and white
hilarious
suit.
page of Batman that I'm trying to find. It's like the cliffhanger page to one of the issues. Where
Yeah,
Batman's
and he's
just
opening his mouth.
yeah, yeah. If I don't find it while we're doing this, I'll put it on screen if I can find it.
I think Superman is the best looking. I don't like Wonder Woman. I think she looks bad in it.
I think Wonder Woman
I
was actually pretty good throughout all this. I'm interested. We have a very differing opinion on this book, it seems,
Um,
because I think some of this is really wonderful.
yeah, I'm not as big of a fan. Like some of the pose abilities, like
But let's
uh,
okay, let's reel it back a little bit and let's just talk story content. Like, what are
mm,
your thoughts as far as the writing is concerned? Because that's actually where I found a lot of like affection or whatever word you might use for this book. Is I think the writing is pretty good for me.
yeah. I mean, it's not bad.
It's wordy. It's definitely wordy.
I don't think it's like that wordy. Like I said, I just fucking finished Death in the Family. If you want to talk about wordy, like this is pretty middle of the road, honestly. Uh, my main problem with it is I feel like everything builds up to be really like almost nothing, and then there's also parts where it's uh, there's a part in fucking the last section where it tries to pull the anime. Oh, you're more or not anime. It's like the fucking new Marvel trope of just talking down every villain because they can't actually fight any villains apparently,
Yeah.
uh, without just talking them
I mean,
down.
it's actually kind of goes into what I wanted to talk about, and it's something a broader topic. I think it's maybe a topic we could get into
Mm,
in future episodes. But it's something I've noticed because obviously I've been reading a lot of manga lately. And it's something I've noticed going between manga and Western comics. You know, I feel like this kind of shows off that having more to say than to show you kind of thing. Because, you know, the fighting, the actual conflict of things is not really the main event. And I find that in a lot of Western comics. And I kind of have this ongoing theory in my head of where that might come from is that, like, you know, Western comics have always been more interested in kind of telling you things and like showing things based on, you know, they kind of a lot of Western superheroes find their origins in like propaganda media. Um, and I think it's just something that I notice with Western comics. You know, the conflict is not always the main event. There's not a lot of Western comics I can think of off the top of my head that I find to have like really intense like fight scenes. Not that there aren't good ones, but you know, and I noticed that differently in manga, which comes from kind of a different time period and a different place. And I found that kind of interesting. But I think Mark Waid, at least with the Tower of Babel story, and some moments here and there throughout these other issues, he has something to say. Like he is like trying to get some things across. You know, like moral concepts and like conundrums and philosophical kind of stuff. And you can definitely see that inking through and like what he's trying to do. I will agree with you though. I don't know if it's pulled off to like a
yeah, I think it's
super
half baked.
master. Yeah, I agree. I think it's epic, but also it could be chalked up to maybe he didn't have enough time because it seems like those extra issues came out later to add context to what was missing. Because if you read the Tower of Babel issues without that Talia secret files and the lost pages at the end, you're missing a lot of context for things that go on. You know, in
Yeah,
the fallout of this story, I think we get a lot of build up in this story. We get a lot of what happens before, and not a lot of the fallout. Like the fallout seems to not really be that important other than everybody's
I
mad at Batman.
yeah. I also think well, yeah, and him getting kicked out and everything. Which I believe that does happen in the main issue. And it probably you get more of the fallout if you keep reading the JLA run. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure. Yeah, and I
Uh,
wanted to let's really quickly kind of just give the premise. I know like we're doing it as a club, so people may have read it, but for those who haven't, like the essential premise of the Tower of Babel story, and this will be like I guess full spoilers now, not that it really wasn't before. Kind of just expect that. But the whole premise of the Tower of Babel story on the boiled down level is Batman is a part of the Justice League and he's been for years kind of cataloging information on the Justice Leaguers on how he would subdue them if need be. He actually references a previous issue that is not included in this comic, where the Justice League was like kind of copied or controlled, and their powers were used against each other or the Earth. And so like he has like a reasoning for it. But essentially he's been doing that. And Ra's al Ghul, noted Asian terrorist, which I dog-eared a page where it says that Ra's al Ghul is a noted Asian terrorist, which I thought was very interesting. Um, he steals Batman's files on the Justice League and uses it to subdue them. And then he has a whole nother crazy plan that's just off the wall. He wants to make it so people can't read language anymore.
he tries doing gas attacks. Basically, like honestly, I will say, just like on the topic of the speaking thing, this seems like this is a fucking massive event. Like this should be world ending. Also, like randomly during this is not a fucking arc I ever knew about. Was Gotham literally becoming a no man's land, fucking destroyed, fucking
Well, yeah,
dystopia.
No Man's Land is like a big Batman event that happens. I was interested by the crossover into that.
I thought maybe I'm just
And
like
so it actually goes,
bad on
I
time.
believe it goes, so it's after Nightfall. It's like late 90s, early 2000s. It's one or two. I don't know which way they go. It's either No Man's Land, then Contagion, or Contagion and then No Man's Land. I think it's
Yeah.
Contagion and then No Man's Land. But basically, a big disease breaks out in Gotham, and that's why they like separate everything. And then like it gets worse from there. And then what is this
Yeah.
like Hydra-esque organization I've never heard of who is like conspiring to turn Gotham into like I don't even know what they're trying to do. They're trying to put like nanites in people and create like this techno virus.
Yeah.
It was a very strange.
This is one I think needs more context for a lot of the shit in here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, you would need more of the run. I also love the first, I think, 2 or 3 issues of this, where they're doing like they're fighting like the probability guy and all that. Yeah, I think it's actually just the first 2 issues. They fight this guy who is like affecting the probability of like quantum space-time to like change events in history, and Superman is the electric blue Superman. And then the next issue that we get in the very next issue, Superman shows up and he's normal, and he literally says, "I'm back to normal for good now."
Yeah, I mean it's
It's just like
I'm guessing what happened is probably it was that 18 what is it 18 to 21 run
yeah.
was probably it was Grant Morrison, then he came back
I want to show
having that
Superman's
thing,
face on this page.
and I'm guessing that was like a 10 issue. Yeah, dude, like some of the art
Some of
I
the
can't see
faces,
it.
I feel like it's the faces that really, um, really
Yeah,
get
I
it.
mean,
Here's the
I would
page
say
where
my
it says that Ra's al Ghul is a noted. He's the machinations of Asian terrorist Ra's al Ghul, and he's like the
yeah.
whitest guy ever.
Yeah,
I also
I mean,
there's an issue that precedes a lot of this. The one that I thought was really confusing is the one where the Flash is a different character. Like I wish I knew enough Flash lore to
yeah,
know what was going on there. And in that issue, they also go after Bruce Wayne, and this is the other page that I kind of set aside that I wanted to show. I thought this was a wild page. The page where they go undercover and Plastic Man is Wonder Woman's dress.
yeah, fire.
That was an absolutely wild page. I was like, what the fuck? I thought I
Yeah,
was gonna hate Plastic Man in this, and you know what? I actually kind of appreciated him for most of it. I didn't think he was as
yeah,
annoying as I thought he was gonna be.
yeah. I think he works enough. I think when he's not like a big like zinger guy, like I think he works. Not even like zinger, but when they don't make him like a fucking 50s like comedy guy, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
shows and stuff like that, they make him like, wow, bada bing, bada boom.
I mean, he
Like,
does kind of do that a little bit. I think what redeemed it for me too is at the end of the story, after it's been revealed what Batman did. You know, he's even pissed off. Like this guy who's always chipper is like he's even upset about it. I think that is like the best part of all of this is seeing the Justice League's reaction, because that whole scene where like they're still trying to save the world. And by the way, I agree with you. Like, just insane shit is happening because of what Ra's al Ghul did. Like the whole world is like collapsing. Like if any of that happened, it would be over in like 20 minutes. There's no way like the Justice League is going to fix this, especially because they stop to ask Batman why he did this, and at least Batman is just like, we can't talk about this right now.
yeah, it's such a weird. Like I feel like it's such a big thing to be resolved in 3 issues.
I will say,
It's insane.
I wrote down too about Batman. What this is my least favorite version of Batman is the kind of Morrisonian Batman, and what I do like about this collection as well is they do a lot of like little side stuff and like letters from people and like people talking about stuff to get you kind of like get a glimpse into where the writers' heads were at and where like what was happening behind the scenes. But
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking about, I personally prefer a fallible Batman. And I think for a long time, this doesn't really exist anymore because I think the new 52 kind of reset Batman in a positive way. Well, and then it kind of got back to him being like the Bat God who can like always be one step ahead of everybody. But I like a Batman who is like fallible and can be like defeated sometimes and hurt. And I think this era of Batman where he's just like always the smartest person in the room all the time is not my favorite. I think it makes him less interesting. And I find Batman very frustrating throughout this whole volume. Like, you're kind of made to not like him, but I think that might be on purpose. Like, Mark Waid is trying to expose a little bit that Morrison's, like, super hyper intelligent Batman is like not interesting. He's just kind of an asshole.
Yeah, I would have to read more of the run to actually like say, hey, this is how he is during this whole
Yeah,
thing.
I
I
actually
haven't
have
read.
another volume from this run, just like New World Order, which is one of the Morrison stories, and I remember enjoying that. But maybe we'll have to do that at some point. I know Rock of Ages is another story arc from this
Yeah,
run.
yeah, I don't really know. I'm not gonna lie. I do prefer from like what I've read from some other Justice League stuff is I like when I don't, and it's the same problem with the Batman, the new 52 Batman, because we had what, three Batman runs, four Batman runs at the same time.
Yeah, what Eternal Detective, the main run, and then was there another one?
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Was that during New 52?
I'm pretty sure. I think
Oh,
there's a Dark Knight run during that run too.
interesting. And he's also on the Justice League.
Yeah, and I don't like that. Like during those kind of things where they try and tie like it's another writer and they're trying to fucking force it. That's one thing I don't like about this comic. It's like that random Flash change. Like for this little arc. Okay, well shit, I got to follow this Lord of Flash. Not just make it like either before that event or make it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I feel like the continuities of the actual series should overrule the continuities of the overarching, like universe. You know what I mean? Like if the Flash was normal an issue ago in Justice League, he should be the normal Flash in the next issue of Justice League. He shouldn't switch. If it's a long-term change,
Yeah.
like if if someone was Batman, let's say Dick Grayson was Batman for like a year, then it's like okay, yeah, he can be Batman in like the other books and stuff. But don't cripple another writer. Don't cripple
Here we
another
go.
writer's story.
Here we go. Here it is.
Yeah.
Actually, this is
And,
the new 52 run of Dark Knight, where it's like breaking into him. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the issue I looked at, where it's like breaking into him, like fighting, like, yeah, it's like him fighting Superman at one point. But like they're like, I'm pretty sure in this, I could be wrong. Don't like quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure in this run, it's like randomly mentions for 2 seconds about Court of the Owls, and is like, all right, let me go fight Superman. Like, don't fucking even involve that. Make it
yeah,
like
yeah.
take place at during different time during that.
I think trying to force continuity is something really negative in both of the big publishers, superhero wise. And it's something that cripples a lot of stories. Like, I think Grant Morrison, knowing about this Justice League run from what I know about it, had to put up with a lot of shit because he had to put up with Superman being Electric Blue Superman. Wonder Woman was also dead for a certain point in his run and then just randomly comes back. I think there's like a couple issues where she's just not there for no
Hmm.
reason. And then you got this Flash change. Now this is Mark Waid who was like filling in for certain issues. But I think these guys were probably dealing with, especially when you're doing a team book that is made up of all characters who have their own solo books. I feel like it really cripples that continuity wise. Also, I mean,
Yeah,
this volume also skips so much. I would prefer if they were going to give us so many sparse, because I know it's just specifically the Mark Waid collection of this stuff. But like, I feel like we kind of need the context of what happened in between all these issues because it
like even
seems
just a
like
little
there were
blurb.
other stories, and they're referencing stories that happened in this run that Mark Waid didn't write.
Yeah, I feel like they just need a little blurb in there, like
Well,
leading up
they
to
do that
this.
sometimes,
Yeah,
like
but I just
letters,
wish
like
there was like
editors' notes and stuff. But I agree,
yeah,
it's not enough.
yeah.
But
Like I will say, they do that for because I'm reading Planet Hulk right now, and they do that. They tell you why he's in the fucking ship and everything at the beginning of Planet Hulk. I'm like, okay, cool, that's cool. But this doesn't feel like this has like much of that at all. And for having like 10 to 20 issue gaps,
yeah,
that's insane.
yeah, no, 100%. At least
Because
like
it's like
something.
close yeah, it's like close enough. Like I think because you don't get like the first 20 issues basically, but then you get like 10 issue gap because you get like 18 through 21, 33 through 34, and then 48 through
I
51 or
think it's
something
like
like that.
44 through 50 or 44 through some 50 or something. Yeah, something like that. No, that would be too
18
many.
through 21, 32 through 33, 43 through 46.
Oh, is that what it doesn't say? It? Yeah.
Yep. So,
Yeah, I mean it's definitely it jumps around. I don't think it hurts any of the specific individual storylines, but I think it hurts the overarchingness of like or cohesivity of the book. Like this is really 3 or 4 stories. Tower of Babel
yeah.
is just the main event, which I feel like could have been marketed a little bit better on like this, and maybe there is more concise versions, but
Yeah, I wouldn't say it might be because it's the deluxe edition that we both have.
True, true. And I will say this though, as far as the individual stories are concerned, I think was a big fan of this because even though it's a little bit disjointed here and there, the individual stories really reminded me of the Justice League cartoon. And I grew up watching the hell out of that cartoon, so like I felt kind of like a little bit drawn to everything, and the little individual stories really did feel like one or two episodes of the cartoon, and that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed. I super connected with that. It was just kind of fun Justice League romping. I do wish there was some better fights, but I always kind of wish that about Western comics, especially older Western comics. Because I think Comics Code Authority really hurt a lot of that in comics for a long time. But I overall, like, I enjoyed my time reading it. Would I reread it? I'm not sure, but I would say the writing is definitely a higher point of this than the art, because I will agree with you, the art is a little bit disjointed. And if you want to get back in and talk a little bit more about that, because I know you had a lot of problems with it.
Yeah, I really just didn't like none of these. Okay, let's talk about art for a second, because to me, the art. I'm just gonna take off the slipcover just because it's fucking ass.
Well, the cover under is way better, by the way.
Yeah, but like, there's cool stuff in here, but like, it honestly feels like page to page, the consistency is not there, and like, I think Superman's pretty consistent. Uh, I'll say that at least.
Yeah.
But like, oh, not even because even dude, just like scrolling through this, it just makes me mad. Some of it, to me, it looks like, and I hate to say this, it looks uh, like a Garth Ennis style comic. Like,
Yeah, I do see that a little bit. I definitely think I think you are a little harsher on this art than I am, because I like, again, some of it's issue by issue, because there are different artists in some of these. This Adam Strange issue that they do, I think, is probably my favorite art style in the whole book, and I think that's the only time that person appears. But then you get to like the next issue, which is the No Man's Land Gotham one, and this one is like, it's not necessarily bad, but it's fairly ugly to me.
yeah.
But it's still better than a lot of it. Unfortunately, I think Howard Porter, who is the kind of main artist on a lot of this, it seems.
Yeah.
I am not a huge fan of him. I don't like his faces.
Yeah.
Especially, I think he draws kind of ugly faces.
I will say the Adam Strange stuff like looks very 90s compared to the rest of it.
Yeah,
like it almost.
It's definitely. I think. Yeah, there it is. That's the page I'm talking about. Like that.
Yeah, dude.
That face is ridiculous. And the thing that's frustrating is I think there are a lot of cool moments that happen. And it's not that the moments aren't cool or I didn't enjoy them, but I do think they're hurt a little bit by the art in some of them.
I will say, I don't know what it is about this too. Something looks wrong with his white eyes in this. And I think it's the lack of detail. Like, it's almost his face is just a flat, like, rectangle.
Yeah,
is the top of his head.
Depiction of Batman. The depiction of Batman, I think, really suffers a lot from that, where the blacks are like, there's no detail added to them with like gray or white lines or anything, or even like much shading, where Batman is just kind of this, or at least his cowl is kind of this just amorphous thing. And sometimes that works for certain Batman scenes, but when it's just everyday Batman, it does kind of make him look a little more boring.
And I will say, I know this is kind of a crazy comparison, but one thing I will say, like something like this, like Greg Capullo.
Yeah.
At least, like when he does his eyes, he doesn't do just circles. Like Porter just does circles for Batman's eyes.
Yeah.
Like it is crazy. Like in there.
Yeah, there's no emotion to his eyes. Like they're very flat.
Yeah, like they're literally just all circles. To me, at least, that's how they all look. It's just
I also really don't like. I'm actually looking through, and it's like there's so many different artists in this too. But I think Orion and Big Barda, the New Genesis kind of members of the Justice League who appear throughout the book, I also feel like they are never drawn in a way that I find appealing in any way.
No, that is one thing.
Well, I'm not going to say just him, because there's so many different artists in here.
Orion definitely like gives me like some of the
like
most,
what is this Wonder Woman face? Like what is that?
Yeah.
Like Wonder Woman looks like a horse. Unfortunately, like I would like Wonder Woman to be a little bit more attractive. Not even just attractive, but just look like what I expect Wonder Woman. I wish I knew. I should have put that down. It looks like 2000, 1999,
2000.
2000.
Okay, yeah, because this I just and this is the start of like the death of comics. Of course, that started in the night, or I guess this is the end
Yeah, this
or
is the end of the
mid
death. This is
period.
the back. I mean, Grant Morrison is known to have kind of brought back the Justice League because his pitch for Justice League was, why does the Justice League suck? Because, prior to his run, the Justice League was the one in Death of Superman, where it's like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold and Martian Manhunter, but he's Bloodwind.
Yeah,
And so Grant Morrison's pitch, from what I know of it, was basically, why don't we just put all the characters people want on the Justice League back on the Justice League?
yeah,
I think it succeeds in that. Like, it is the characters you want to see for the most part.
yeah. And I think it is like an interesting time because then this is also around the time. Hopefully, I'll just make sure.
I will say Kyle Rayner as the Green Lantern, I feel like, is not only underused, but I don't find him very interesting. And I'm not going to say I would prefer Hal, because honestly, I haven't read a lot of Hal Jordan Green Lantern stuff. But I would think I would prefer Hal only on the fact that he's a little bit more iconic, and I feel like Kyle didn't have much to do in all of this.
Yeah,
He kind of just gets sidelined, and they also, like, he continuously talks about how he's like the newest leaguer, and like he's all
yeah,
like childish and naive about it, and it's like, well, then, like, why is he even here? I
yeah.
guess because he's the Green Lantern, and Hal's dead. Where's Jon Stewart?
When did this run? Is this the run was his start to it or no?
I believe
When
this was
was Grant
around the
Morrison's
time.
start?
Oh, Grant Morrison start this run, but of Justice League, I believe, is his run. I don't know when he started
Yes.
though. Did he start at number 1 or did he start later? I'm not sure. Yeah, so this Justice League New World Order, this Grant Morrison is Justice JLA number 1 through 9.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about the art and the writing. Is there any other like points you wanted to kind of talk about, or characters you wanted to highlight from Tower of Babel? Anything that really stuck out in your mind?
Um. Honestly, I do like the age, like the start of the end of like with the post thought, whatever, the last issue that basically is in there. I do like that a lot. Where it shows kind of the
Where
distrust
is
between
Tails? Weird thing.
all of the Bat family afterwards.
Yeah. Well,
So
and
you
how
kind
it's
of have that.
affecting other people too. I really appreciated
Yeah,
the like seeing the Titans and the Young Justice and how they were kind of distrusting Robin and Nightwing.
I feel like it tries to. My problem is like there's really like that's a really cool issue, and the issue at afterwards where it goes to it, and they're having that meeting is like really cool and feels very impactful. But the main story does not feel that impactful at all to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tower of Babel does suffer a little bit because it's supposed to be this race against the clock, but I think it kind of drags itself out. Like that could have been 2 issues.
Yeah,
Like to
I feel
me,
like
I feel like a lot of stuff happens. You could have just taken 1 issue, because they do the taking out of the Justice League in like 3 issues. It takes them like 3 issues to take them all the way out. It's like take
yeah,
the Justice League out in 1 issue. Like you
yeah.
don't have to drag it out.
I think the thing too is, and I know it kind of had to be a Batman villain, but
Yeah,
like I don't know what Batman like Ra's al Ghul's not. I
Ra's al
think the
Ghul
villain you
is
want
his
for.
most international villain. I feel like,
Yeah, it's his most, I guess, international, but it's like
because when
to me,
Batman goes against
I don't even.
Rage, sorry,
Well, I don't even want like a Batman villain almost for this. Like I think it would have been some like a lot better for like somebody like a Brainiac or something. But you can't like it's hard to do
well,
that
I think
because
it
you're going
only
with a.
works as a Batman villain.
Yeah, I know that's the problem. Like
Because if they're going to steal from Batman, they have to not only be smart enough to steal from Batman, they have to be able to get to Batman. And I think Ra's works. And I think also in like previous Ra's al Ghul material, it is often when Batman does this kind of more globe-trotting, almost like spy type stuff, is when he fights Ra's. So I do feel like it works for him as a Justice League villain. But also, like, I don't know, like, it does feel like the League of Assassins and Ra's, like, should not be so dangerous to the Justice League. I don't know.
no, no, and I guess it's just because they found that that's the only reason they're actually able to even cause a fight. But it feels like if they know all this stuff now, they should have had more shit to do. Like when they got there, they shouldn't have been surprised. They should have pre-planned that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
if Raj is the one who fucking trained Batman to be who he is, he should also have like the cunning and the ability to be like, hey, like he's probably smart enough to figure this out. Let's have backup options. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also
Like
you
to
have
me,
to
it seems
understand this is the era of Batman is always right and always wins. So like
Yeah.
Batman cannot be thwarted by Raish, like at all. That would have been a cool
Yeah.
twist, but like Batman can't be because this version of Batman is not like that. It also calls into question. I think this whole volume calls into question for me in a lot of ways my frustration with Superman when Superman is on a team, especially, but it's kind of the Superman conundrum overall because Superman displays some powers in this volume that are genuinely like omniscient, or like at least in terms of Earth, what would be considered like omniscient abilities. And it's just like always that question, like why
I
wasn't Superman on top of this?
do think it's badass. I will say it is one of my favorite parts of the comic. And it's not even the Tower of Babel part, but when he's just fucking sitting in space doing Overwatch over Gotham, that shit is badass.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's just
yeah.
like telling him like exactly where everybody is. Dude, that was like, damn, that's a
Well,
cool ass way to use Superman that I haven't seen before.
I think using him in that way works. That issue is actually really good as far as like the message about like
Yeah,
teamwork and how everybody has their roles, and that shows off the side of Superman that I love. He's a good leader. He's smart, and he's like not always trying to be like this bruiser. Like all that stuff is great about Superman. But then when we get into like the Tower of Babel stuff, like just the fact that Superman is caught off guard at all is like almost very frustrating because he's like listening to sine waves like in between like the vibration of like frequencies, like he's
yeah,
doing insane stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. I also feel like Superman's the whole red kryptonite thing is like the weakest to me because while it does put Superman like in pain and he's getting like this like overload of like his senses and stuff, I still feel like that wouldn't put Superman out. Like I don't know. It seems like he can use his powers because when they go to the Watchtower, he still saves the Flash by using his powers.
well, yeah. But he's the reason he's doing it. He's still just healing from it.
Oh, I guess the
So
red
he's
kryptonite isn't there.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I don't
I
know.
don't know where
I
the
feel
red
like the
kryptonite
Superman
is.
conundrum is something that always frustrates me because I do love Superman as a character, and I think there's a lot of interesting things you can say with Superman and do with Superman. But on the other hand, it's like if Superman can do everything, and especially because I know this is a kind of more Morrison influenced Superman. Um, this is like Morrison is a big like Silver Age guy. That would be the Superman who can literally do anything. It
Yeah,
just frustrates me in like situations like this where it's like, well, Superman should just figure this out, or he should have just went right to Ra's al Ghul like off rip.
yeah. I do think I will say I'm just this is going back to like the Batman being the fucking all powerful, like all knowing
Yeah.
uh guy. And I just like I'd say because I do love this run, but like, and I'm not as like comic historian as you. Not to like mention the channel or anything, but like just saying like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't try and delve. I like to read the
I'm
comics
interested
and
in
like
the inside baseball of it. So
yeah, like I try and read it because I rather read it and learn that way and process and like learn how stories interconnect. Because I think that's cool. That's why like I
I
read
mean, I do
Death
that
in the
too.
Family after. No, I know. I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying I don't usually like try and um delve unless I'm delving into like a specific character that's like somebody who's been less written about and stuff like that. Then I'll start going to like the fucking wikis and stuff like that. Like someone like Azrael, who's like my one of my favorite characters. But like
I mean, I just
it
listen to a
feels to
lot of
me like
interviews with creators, so I've heard them talk about stuff like that a lot.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, I
most of the
find that
creator interviews, I'll just say most of the creator interviews, like watching like Jeff Lemire, he hasn't written anything like massive, I guess, other than like absolute like written big stuff, but nothing like too crazy that's like about events and stuff like that. As big as someone like Grant Morrison, Mark Waid, like who have written massive events
yeah, and I
within
mean,
Marvel and stuff
I
like
like
that.
to know where a writer is at with like their thought process. That's why
Yeah,
I really appreciate what I was saying earlier about like how Mark Waid has all these like notes throughout the book. It's really in that forward in the beginning, and then I think there's some stuff in between some of the issues, or like on the letters pages. I don't even know if they're letters pages, but there are like additional little blurbs he puts in there.
yeah,
And I really appreciated that, and like getting to see like kind of stuff he was thinking about at the time. Like during the probability issue, he kind of talks about how like he based it all off some like scientific stuff that he was reading about at the time.
yeah,
And I find that stuff very interesting. So
yeah. I think honestly that was the most interesting, like what the effects were. That was to me the most interesting issues
well,
of this whole book.
I think that one works really well. That two-parter, it's very concise and like there's a mystery to it. And there's actually, it kind of pulls off what I think Tower of Babel should have felt like, where it's like that race against the clock. But like it
Yeah.
works better because it really feels like there is a race against the clock and things are happening, like moving everything forward. I think Tower of Babel lingers too much on like the suffering of the Justice Leaguers, and it's like we get that they're suffering. Like we get that
Yeah.
there's this internal conflict and that they're suffering. Like that stuff could have been chopped a little bit for filler.
Yeah. Who do you think has because I was first of all I was thinking about this the whole time. Um just because of like the whole Green Lantern section of turning blind. I was
Yeah.
thinking about like Superior Iron Man and that fucking diabolical shit with Daredevil
Daredevil
and
where he
everything
gives
like
him his
that.
sight back. Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Um but like it was giving me like those vibes. But like what do you think was the actual worst um thing that happened to any of the
I
characters?
mean, I think
Like who
the Martian Manhunter one is like diabolical. That's fucking evil. Because the Martian Manhunter one, they specifically go out of their way to say, and I think it's because he's not a human, that Batman made this to kill him. Like,
yeah.
I think there's one or two that Batman is like absolutely like they will die. And I think Aquaman might be the other one. Uh,
Yeah, Aquaman's like completely getting
the,
well, okay, so he the way he writes it in the like Secret Files one is like um might be too extreme or something. Like he puts little bits in there like might need to find a different way
yeah,
to do
I
it
like
that's
that
like less
Secret
extreme.
Files issue where it actually explains Batman's like thought process on all of them. Because I like the
Yeah.
one I think in Secret Files. There's one where he explains like needs more research or something, and I forget which character it's for. Because there's one where he like shows other members of the Justice League who aren't in it, which I thought was some of the best like extra content that this added.
Yeah.
Like seeing like members of the Justice League who aren't even appearing in this. It's this page. I think the Oliver Queen one is great. He says Green Arrow can probably be distracted with any number of positive or negative changes in his personal life and fortune.
Yeah. There's I love like just reading those like little bio not even bios, but like basically kill sheets
Yeah,
or not
even though
like target sheets.
even though it's not my favorite version of Batman as a character, I will still like I appreciate the character building it does for Batman, and especially this version of Batman.
Yeah.
Because he is a paranoid freak. Like he's an absolute freak.
Yeah. I
Even
do think
Alfred is like Master Wayne. Like you think maybe this is a little much.
yeah, this is one I would love to see revisited and like almost remastered to like a
Like done again.
bigger.
I think the animated
Yeah,
movie does it like 10 times better.
yeah. I haven't watched the animated movie,
Maybe
so
we
I'm
can
not.
do a follow up on that at some point. It's Justice League Doom is what it's called, and it's a whole different villain and different premise, but essentially it's the same premise. Sorry, but essentially what it is it's Vandal Savage instead of Ra's al Ghul, which I think does kind of work about the same, if not better, because Vandal Savage is like as old as the Earth or whatever. And Vandal Savage puts together kind of like a Legion of Doom of like everybody's like antagonist, but everybody's antagonist who is like their arch antagonist. So it's like I think Superman's is not Lex Luthor, but other than that, it's like Joker and I think Reverse Flash. Or no, it's Captain Cold. I don't remember all the villains. But anyway, he puts together a team of villains. But he also does these little things that he gets from Batman's computer to them. And some of them are different. Like the Flashes in that movie is that he gets him to do the vibration thing. And then he gets like a bomb stuck in his arm. And if he stops running, he'll explode and die. And like stuff like that. It's a little bit different. It tweaks a little bit of stuff. And I think because it's just a movie and it's more concise, it executes the premise better.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
I'll
maybe
have to
we'll have
watch
to
it.
talk about it. Maybe we'll have to watch it.
Maybe we'll just have to watch all those movies at some point.
Yeah, that one is not from the like DC animated universe. It's from before.
Okay.
That's from way before.
Okay.
So it was just a Justice League movie they made. They made a couple Justice League movies in that era though, because they made Earth 2 as well, which is that Grant Morrison Justice League story.
Yeah.
And there's a couple others from that time that we could do. But yeah, maybe we'll talk about Justice League Doom at some point. If I would have thought about it before, maybe we could have thrown it into this video. But it's an interesting watch. It's one of my favorite of the animated Justice League movies, I will say.
Yeah, I'm definitely super, super interested in like just watching, even whether it be that animated universe stuff, like any of those, I think would be pretty cool to do a little maybe short review on.
Yeah.
But,
Now, so we don't have to end it here, but what would be your kind of number rating for this collection or Tower of Babel as a story, whatever you think is more apt?
I think because I actually do think that these stories actually, for the most part, work together. Because I will say, like, I'm just gonna kind of go through. Like, I think the first part, um, to me, showed like a weakness in the Justice League and kind of like an oh shit moment that was like, what could happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it was like members disappearing and not knowing happened. So like adds like just I think all the stories like build up
I
pretty
also think
well,
it
and then
shows their
the
reliance on Batman because they're
yeah
like relying on Batman to answer the questions for them.
yeah, and then the whole Adam Strange one I think was pretty good because it shows like I think it honestly almost gives them. I wish they would have brought it up later. Is that point when Batman's trying to prove, like, trying to explain himself why he should still be in, and like, or they're trying to basically make their reasons. Like the Martian Manhunter's part in that book where he like betrays them
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they don't know why. Like, I think it's almost like a part when it's like,
It's a missed
damn,
opportunity
well,
not to
we
bring
didn't,
that back up.
yeah, and like we are in a mistrusting moment not that long ago,
Yeah, and then
10
it
issues
turns out
ago.
that he was on the same side, but like doing it for different reasons or whatever. But it
Yeah, and
shows
they
like
need
the
to like,
fallibility of the other members. Yeah,
yeah. So I think it's like a really interesting idea, and I honestly, I think it would have been neat to see some of those other characters in this situation. Like, I know this is like probably the most like trying to be the most bare bones Justice League for the Tower of Babel section. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because it works the best to be that bare bones and not have a bunch of cluttered characters who haven't been around forever. You know what I mean? He already knows the most about Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
yeah.
Uh, and then Martian
For
Manhunter.
context, also, I was looking through New World Order. This is the White Martian story that they reference in this book when they have
Okay.
that issue about the White Martian. So maybe we'll have to do this at some point because this is context for that, where the White Martian stuff comes from.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely think it's interesting though.
I thought the
Overall,
White
like
Martian
it's
had a sick design. I mean, it looks like a xenomorph, but
yeah, yeah, it does not look anything like the Green Martians.
no. Well, I mean, technically, John looks more like that in his natural form.
Yeah, I I'm not I'm not as well versed on Martian Manhunter
Yeah,
as
I'm a
you.
big Martian Manhunter fan. I think he's awesome. I
I
like.
think like the idea is cool, but like this is the only thing I have actually about Martian Manhunter, which I don't think anybody's ever probably read this shit.
I didn't even know what that is. I only know him basically from Justice League stuff, really.
He's fighting white Martians in this,
Oh,
so.
I mean, I believe they're a common antagonist for him.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a sucks. This is just like a random Ollie's find. At one point, you
Yeah.
can see the fucking
I mean, this was an
sticker.
Ollie's find. This JLA New World Order was an Ollie's find.
There's probably a better Ollie's find than this.
I mean, honestly, like half my DC collection is just Ollie's finds.
Yeah.
So,
'Cause
folks,
DC
if you
prints
like
the
comics,
fuck out of everything.
if you like comics, go to Ollie's. You can find some good stuff there sometimes. Highly
Yeah.
recommend.
I mean, shit, dude. I fucking
So
that Black
many.
Panther.
Maybe we'll just have to do
But
a top 10
nice
books we
and
got
coats
from
one.
Alley's.
Yeah,
Ollie's.
we might have to.
Um.
Well, I have to read a little bit more, but
Well, I
I
mean,
feel like
yeah,
there's some I haven't read. But
of course, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have many more thoughts about this book. I would say like my overall number. Did you give a number rating?
I don't know. But I think overall 7.5 out of 10. I think
Yeah,
it's an all right book. It's
I think
not.
7 is where I'd land.
Um, I think the only thing I don't really know. I think it is a 7. Like I don't think anything would really bump me up to 7.5, other than it just being a critical story, which to me it shouldn't be like part of me ranking it higher just because it's an important story.
Yeah, and I mean, how
Like
important? I mean, I would like to know, and maybe this is how we can do some further reading. But like, I'd like to know when Batman rejoins the Justice League because inevitably he will. And I'd like to know how long it lasted. Like, was my question would be how impactful was it? Was Batman out of the Justice League for years, like years in real life, or was he out of the Justice League for like a couple months?
yeah, yeah, it'd be definitely interesting to see.
Because
Because
yeah,
well, go ahead.
no, please.
I was just gonna say like because you're saying that like months aren't very impactful in comics
Yeah,
overall. Like months in the real world, like it's not that
yeah, it
like
needs
oh
to
my
be like a
god,
long time
yeah,
for like change. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying with like continuity of story too. It's like if you're gonna change let's say who the Flash is for 2 months, 3 months, like 3 issues, which is a lot in the Flash book.
Yeah.
That's 3 months of the Flash's story. That's maybe even getting close to like 60, 70 pages. But if you're only going to change it for that much time, then the Justice League should not have to be beholden to that. Now, if it's a long-term change, and this is something that should probably be happening behind the scenes with like editors and all that, because people usually are planned out fairly far, I imagine. But like, if it's not going to be a long-term change, then I don't think we should like cripple our team book by like changing things up for those readers, because there might be people who are only reading Justice League. Maybe they only read Batman and Justice League. Like 2 big books. They're not reading the Flash, so it's just going to be jarring for them, and it's not fair to the writer of those books.
Yeah, definitely. I do think like it's so tough because there's like probably 5 pages we see that different Flash in this whole book.
Yeah.
And
I want to know who did the slipcover for this book, because I actually think the art in the slipcover is really good. Like, as far as
I don't like Wonder Woman's face.
I don't like Superman's face, but he looks like our friend Patrick from Spiller Studios.
Also, yeah, because he's got the weird mullet. I don't know. It's okay. I do like the Batman with like the claw hands, like kind of monster type. What's the right word for that?
Yeah, monsterized.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Batman drank a white monster. He got monsterized.
But it also feels like it's missing. Like, I do think Martian Manhunter is like. I don't think Aquaman's that big in the story. I will say.
They try and make him more important at the end of Tower of Babel, and it just doesn't really hit for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Also, like, I'm not used to Aquaman, fucking claw hand Aquaman, who's just got like a harpoon hand.
Yeah. I also like Aquaman's just kind of a dick, like the whole book. And, like, I get it, obviously, when he's, like, affected by the fear talks and stuff, that's fair. But even before and after all that. And, like, I feel like the Aquaman stuff doesn't hit for me, because it's like, Aquaman, like, you already suck. Like, unfortunately. Like, I don't feel like I really care what Aquaman has to say about all this. Sorry that you got fear toxins. Like, oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's, like, really the only media I've ever, like, I'm like, oh, man, I really liked Aquaman.
It was Momoa. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Jason Momoa, and then, like, I actually... The first volume, I haven't read the rest, but the first volume of the
New 52.
New 52.
I've heard that the New 52 run of Aquaman is pretty good.
Yeah, Jeff Johns' writing is very cool.
Yeah, I'm not saying Aquaman really can't be cool. I just did not like him in this. I think his characterization is very off-putting in this. I think most of the characters are written in a very a way that I would expect these characters to be written from what I know about them, and also like a kind of inviting, way that shows off their personalities, whereas Aquaman is just like a grumpy ass for most of the book, and I'm like, well, whatever. And I did actually like the addition of some of the other Leaguers. I think the only thing
I do like that it's I do like that it's a fluid team.
Yeah, they have circulating members from like the whole history of the Justice League.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. I like that aspect of it as well. I would say though, it's one thing that hurts the Adam Strange issue if you don't know that much about him, which I don't know that much about Adam Strange, to be quite honest with you. They explain a lot of what goes on with him. I got like the basics of it, but like Superman basically cruxing his trust for Adam Strange on the fact that he has been on the Justice League before, and has been, or has at least like been an ally before. I feel like is a little weak if you're reading that just as like a single thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's just again the product of having a collection that is so all over the place. And also, I don't even know when Adam Strange... Maybe he's only teamed up with Superman, and that's, like, a Superman-specific thing. They probably tell you what issue it's from, somewhere in there. Because that is one thing that this book is really good about. It has little asterisks. And obviously, it's editor's notes from the actual comics, but it does tell you a lot of where things are coming from.
Yeah.
So you can seek them out.
There's, like, a couple... Before we... Because we're kind of... I feel like...
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up here in a minute.
I do want to talk about. I do think just like a few little things that I want to talk about before the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Go. I'm not on a time crunch.
The Wonder Woman section, dude. The whole Wonder Woman's punishment thing was fucking diabolical too. The whole her brain.
Oh, to give her a heart attack.
Switching. Yeah, dude, that shit's diabolical.
Yeah,
just like.
Well, I think
that's like.
Sorry, please.
No, you're good. I just think that's like one of the most more unique punishments of ways to knock him out.
I think the reason that one works so well is because there's that scene, that flashback where her and Batman are like sparring, and
Yeah,
there's like that weird like romantic tension. Like
I do.
clearly there's something going on there, and like Wonder Woman like completely writes Batman off after that shit. Which fair, because he literally was like
Yeah,
intending to give her a heart attack.
yeah, I do. I do love the. I do love those sections when it shows him like interacting,
Oh yeah,
and
in
it's
the
like
Watchtower,
when Kyle Rayner's who's like
he's like building the thing. He's
while he's drawing, he's got like the
well, no, no.
picture frame
Batman is
down.
like fucking with something. Like he's pretending to be nice. He's like, oh Kyle.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Yeah, I need my eyes to see my creative vision." He asks him like the question. He's like, "What would you rather lose?"
It's like looking back, Batman is like so fucking diabolically evil. He's just like, yeah, like so. If the worst fucking thing ever happened to you, what would it be? And then he's like, I imagine he's like scribbling it down. Like,
Like, would you rather never listen to music again or never be able to see? He's like, well, I need my sight to be creative at all. If I
he's
can't be
like, I
creative,
need my sight to be creative and to be Green Lantern and like to do everything in my life.
so it's like, I guess, like, yeah, it would suck not to hear music, but I really need to see to be anything that I am right now. And Batman's like,
Dude, I think Batman has a smirk on his face in that scene. By the way,
he's
I
like,
wish I had like.
say it to the mic, say that to the mic.
Yeah, I
please."
imagine Oracle's on the other line, or like Alfred, and he's like holding his arm up. Like Batman's like, yeah, yeah. So like, what would be the most important thing for you to lose? The Superman one is also, I think, the one that is a little bit diabolical too, just because it goes into a little bit about how like they're actually friends. And
Yeah,
like basically the whole time that Batman has known Superman through all these adventures, he's just in the background been like, just in case. I love also in the Secret Files when Batman's talking about Superman because Superman gets like a whole like 2 or 3 paragraphs. He's like, you know, if I needed to kill him, I could do it.
yeah,
Which I was just like, I mean, it is very Dark Knight Returns, very Frank Miller Batman. Just like completely
yeah,
confident in the fact that he can kill Superman whenever he wants. That is something I like about Batman and Superman's dynamic. Even though I don't like Batman always being that guy, I think in their dynamic, the like human Batman versus the all powerful kind of Superman, that in most depictions, like Batman like still beats Superman. Always. And I think it's just
yeah,
because Superman's too nice. Like Superman wouldn't do that to Batman. And I think that scene of Superman where he's just like brooding at the end in the Watchtower is actually like really sad, or it came across like really sad to me because it's like him talking to Oracle and she shows him Batman like having just no remorse.
yeah.
And she's like, I thought
Honestly,
you should see that. And Superman's like, okay.
dude, one thing I really, really wish that we would get, I don't know, maybe this is a thing. I would love to get like a World's Finest run, but instead of Batman Superman, I would love to get the Green Arrow Superman.
Mm.
Just like speaking of that fucking, because in Dark Knight Returns, you get the whole scene where he like Green Arrow shows up like out of nowhere and
Yeah, yeah.
fucking does like I think Green Arrow would be such a cool, and I wish he was in more like this kind of stuff because it like shows you that there's like a connection between them in those side issues, or in the, like the secret files or whatever
Yeah,
where it
yeah.
shows it.
I feel
Um,
like Green Arrow just like he kind of serves as kind of just like another Batman and not as smart. So like
yeah,
I feel like that's why like I don't really need a Green Arrow, but I would say it's cool. I think World's Finest would be cool if they did more like other duos. You know, like I'd love to see
yeah,
like Green Lantern and Flash.
yeah,
You
or like
know,
Wonder Woman and
Superman.
Power Girl. No, you need
Why does it have to be two women? Why can't Wonder Woman and
Women's
Superman team up?
Finest.
Why can't Wonder Woman and
Women's
Martian
Finest.
Manhunter team up?
I don't think anybody. I honestly don't think anybody wants that.
I mean, I like the Martian
I'm not-
Manhunter.
I like the Martian Manhunter too. I'm not saying that.
I
I'm
actually
just
think
saying
in
it's like
this
that.
he's one of my favorite characters in most of these.
Yeah,
I think, especially that Adam Strange issue, they actually give him like emotional weight and like
that
I
is
don't know.
actually well, not that issue specifically, but like him as a character. I do want to bring up
Yeah,
the whole like the crazy Batman, like um, kind of making himself a sleeper agent basically, and like
yeah,
fucking removing the thoughts from his mind. So fucking Martian Manhunter could not find that he was plotting that.
yeah, yeah. That
Is
is
like
that's another
crazy.
just Batman insanity.
Yeah,
I
and then he
like
somehow.
I like it a little bit because like Batman like the way he outsmarts them is interesting and cool. it
Yeah.
just feels like Batman is almost just being used as like plot device over being an actual character, because it just feels like in like when you read solo Batman, even at the height of like this kind of Batman, I feel like there's still like some humanity to him where he will be like he does get tripped up by like the bad family members and stuff going on like in the world around him. And in these, it just feels like he's just like a force of nature. Like Batman just
Yeah.
appears, he's right, and then it's over. And
Is
that
it?
is like there's not as much depth to that. Like I even with the Ra's al Ghul stuff and his parents, it's like one panel where he's like, "No, Ra's, you have my parents," and then like he right after that he's just right back on it.
Mhm.
And it just feels like kind of wasted opportunity to show that Batman is not a robot. Like this is the most autistic Batman.
I have a what is the Robin we see in the
That's
Young
Tim Drake.
Justice?
That's Tim Drake.
Okay, it's Tim Drake.
Damian
Okay.
was not a thing yet, I don't believe.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to make sure.
This is pre-Damian, but I think this might lead into that because this is where Talia strikes out against Raish.
Yeah, I just didn't know. Let's see if I can.
Or I don't know, when is Son of the Demon?
Son of the.
Isn't
it's
that
the-
Damian's appearance?
I don't know. Is this not it? Batman's son, or is this the after, like when they actually get together?
I don't know. Are we in research session?
I guess we're in research session 2006.
Yeah, this is before that.
Yeah, well, this is just what. Yeah, I don't know. This is just Batman and son. I don't know if this is like him meeting his son for the first time or not. I couldn't tell you.
What's
But
Damian Wayne's first appearance? 2006. Yeah, that's it.
okay, yeah. So this is probably the like start of him. Is this fucking
So Damian
comic
was
here?
in Batman and Son first.
Cool.
Maybe you don't get the full backstory for him right away.
Yeah.
But I haven't
It'd be
read that
interesting.
run. I haven't read that run because I'm not a big Damian fan. At least from like modern Batman, I don't really like Damian very much. And I'm talking like New
Yeah.
52 and onward because that's really where I've read most of my Batman, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I need
he
to
just
catch
kinda
up
seems
on
like
some older Batman.
a brat, but
Yeah, he just comes off as obnoxious, and I hate it. And I don't think it's a good like foil for Batman in any way either, because Batman is a little bit pompous, you know.
yeah, I think it's weird
And
because
it's also like Batman constantly trying to get him to stop killing people is like it's interesting. Like maybe the first, and I'm sure that Batman and Son run, his like first appearance, is probably like his best stuff in a lot of ways, because I feel like the personality of Damian would wear off pretty quickly.
yeah, I think Damien. I hate to say this, but I think it's almost time for a
Him
new
to
Robin.
die. Yeah.
Okay,
Well, and Scott
not even-
Snyder, tried to create other Batman members like Duke, but he didn't make him into
Yeah.
Robin. Like Duke, didn't become
Became,
Robin.
like,
he became
Batman Mini.
Signal, I think he's called.
yeah, which is like Batman Mini.
Yeah, he's like
That's
Gold
literally all he is.
Batman. And it's like, why couldn't he just be Robin? And then he could go
Yeah.
on and be his own character, like all the Robins have.
Yeah, I feel like Damien needs to become his own, like, and not just like, oh, I'm Robin, but now I'm pissed off and not working with Batman anymore.
Yeah, I feel like
Like,
Damian would be better served kind of doing his own thing.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think that's my main problem with Robin because Robin just always becomes a pissy teenager.
Yeah, I think.
Like even
Yeah.
I think Nightfall is. I think Tim Drake is probably to me the best Robin
Yeah, I mean,
because Jason Todd is pretty mid.
I feel like
Jason
a
Todd's
lot of
like-
the Batman I've read has been Damian as Robin, so I don't have as much of a overview of like which Robin I like most. I mean, obviously I like Dick the most, but I like him as Nightwing.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah.
like-
I think he's a good Nightwing. I think like Tim Drake kind of works because he's like, and his story's so weird. Like, especially I literally just read
Yeah,
Death
yeah.
of Family, like the second half. So it's kind of weird. So I like know about his origin a little bit, which is kind of like very like, oh, this is a very convenient fucking story of how he got there. But like reading Nightfall and stuff like that, where it's like he's like trying to help Batman and he's like the main character that's like, oh fuck, like, because he's also basically like a fucking stand for Nightwing, I'll say,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
stand for
Batman.
Dick Grayson.
Oh, Dick
um,
Grayson. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's very cool to see like his like conflict when Batman actually like falls in Nightfall
Yeah.
and like seeing Azrael rise and like he's trying to be that force that's like, this is not what Batman is. Like, this is a completely different story overall.
Yeah. We'll have to do Nightfall one day.
But I didn't. That little bit I did not like. In the little bit I read of his like that one page, he just kind of seemed like a chud. And in this like Young Justice, which I
Yeah,
feel like I don't like Robin outside unless he's in, I guess, like Teen Titans. I feel like I like him more, but the Young Justice and shit like that, like I really don't like Robin when he's not with Batman.
yeah. I feel like it's hard to make Robin work outside of that because when Robin is on his own team, he's just the Batman of the team, and so it's
Yeah,
just like Batman as like a teenager, and that's like
but he's
not.
not like smart like Batman either.
Well, Tim Drake is,
Yeah,
or he's
yeah.
supposed to
Tim
be.
Drake.
Tim Drake is supposed
Well,
to be like,
yeah,
you know,
because
the
Tim Drake. The
smart
whole reason
one.
he finds out is because he literally like finds out who
Like Tim
Batman
Drake is
is.
the detective Robin. He's like the one who's
Yeah,
more of a detective. Like Dick is like, you know, he's smart, but he's not like as smart as
yeah,
Batman. He's more of a fighter, in all honesty.
yeah.
Uh,
And then you
but
get
I think Dick, you
fucking
know, like I think the good thing about Dick and Nightwing is like Nightwing has been around for so long and become such a like cult character that like he never has to be Robin again. Like we just know that he was Robin.
yeah. The only thing he has to be is Batman at
Yeah,
some point
yeah.
again.
I agree. I agree. I think letting him be Batman again for like an extended period of time would be cool.
No,
But I also do. I will say I heard an argument. This is kind of a tangent but it's fine. I heard an argument that like having him be Nightwing is almost better. Like making him Batman kind of sullies Dick Grayson a little bit.
I don't think it's what he's about. Like I think it actually hurts him because his whole thing stepping into Nightwing is breaking away from Batman and
Yeah,
Robin.
absolutely.
Yeah, so I do agree with that.
But I also
But
think it's cool when he has to play that character.
yeah, I think it creates conflict within himself that like he wants to like because Gotham really can't be a thing without Batman. You
Yeah,
know what I
and
mean?
also if you're gonna pick any of them to be Batman, it would be him.
Yeah,
Like 100.
like
percent
yeah,
I mean, maybe Tim Drake, but like I don't know if people are that interested in Tim Drake anymore. But
yeah,
yeah, that's kind of my closing. So I guess here at the end we'll talk about what we're gonna do for next month. I'm pretty sure we're decided on doing Spider-Man Reign
yes.
because we talked about doing it, and I think it would just be a fun book to do. It's a weird Spider-Man book, kind of the Dark Knight Returns of Spider-Man.
We'll
And
say I actually
yeah,
I forget. I think I forgot to text you this the other day because I was like, I'm not gonna fucking double up. I was like, when you already texted to you, and I was like, I'm not gonna double this up. Um, dude, the Night Rain or the Night Rain, no, the
Night
fucking
Rain, Elden Ring.
Spider-Man Rain 2. The cover for the I don't know if it's the trade or whatever, dude. Actually, kind of looks cool.
Yeah, I'll have to look it
It's
up
like
after this.
it looks very Spawn or Todd McFarlane esque,
Hmm. Hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah, Spider-Man Reign's cover kind of gives me that vibes a little bit too.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, so next month Spider-Man Reign. So if you want to follow along with our little book club thing, maybe we'll be a little bit more coherent. Maybe we won't. Who knows? But yeah, that's what we're going to be reading. So watch out for that. I can't say exactly when in the month it's going to come out. Probably somewhere in the middle of the month. What are you fucking doing? I'm looking at you in my OBS, and you're doing all kinds of weird ass. Okay. Yeah, that's
I'm a
gonna
My
be all.
Hero Academia character.
That's going to be all for us, folks. Thank you so much. This has been Tales from the Shelf. Look out for us next month. Check out some other videos on the channel. Check out Boss Nasty, our gaming channel. Check out Spillage Studios. And stay tuned for more. If you like this, do all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. Peace.
Peace.